Welcome back, Filmholics. My name is God Kendrick, and in this channel you find anything and everything filmmaking. So today it's gonna be a little bit different. I'm not gonna be using these backlights in just a second. And that's because, as you know from the title, I'm gonna be only using this one light to light my YouTube video and show you guys how to do that. Now, this is also part of a bigger playlist where I show you guys how to light your YouTube videos with other techniques and also how to get the right exposure, other ways to get just the perfect lighting for your YouTube videos. So let's go ahead and get started, and let me show you guys an example of what it'll look like. So here's an example of what it'll look like if you use only one light in your whole YouTube setup. So the rest of the video is gonna have this whole example look of one light setup for your YouTube videos. But let's go ahead and get through the steps. First step is the choice of light. There's gonna be several different budgets. There's gonna be the whole 120D Mark II, there's gonna be lower lights than that, and then below that as well. So I put a couple, suggestions down in the links below. There are no extra cost to you guys, just if you buy them, it'll help out the channel. So there's that. But that's the first thing, you have to choose your lights. And a small suggestion for the first step is buying a cheaper light doesn't make it a bad light. You can make any light look good if you know how. And with that being said, that means you could have more lights in your video, and that would make it more professional. It looks a lot better. It always has that a little bit, just that production quality. So if you guys go for like a 120D Mark II and you guys can afford other lights, go for that. But if you're like me and you can't afford that light already and you want more lights in your video, then I would suggest getting a cheaper one like I have, the Aputure F7, and going with the flow with that until you can afford the bigger light. Step 2 is going to be practicals, and I know I said one light, but the thing is, everyone in their house has a lamp, has other fixtures, has like small light up things, and you can go to the store and get like those globe lights, those Edison lights, and those a bunch of other string lights. And if you just sprinkle those in the back like this, it always looks a lot better in your videos. It adds this whole this is lived in, this is like a personal space, but also a professional space. So step number 3, we're running down these really fast, but this is kind of weird. You kind of have to understand your face. For example, I don't have a strong jawline right over here, but I do have one right here. It's like a pointy chin, but I don't have the whole Superman look. But I also have these weird bags under my eyes, and also I have a very skinny face, so you have to be very specific with light. And that's something that everyone has to go through. You have to just test around to see the weird and fun angles that you want to do. Also, it depends on what your niche is. If you're doing beauty, you want your whole face to be lit. If you're doing something more dramatic like this, the whole having the triangle right here and having the nose shadow kind of line up to make a triangle, it's a common thing that a lot of people like to do. And you just have to test around to see what works best for you. Another thing is that to get that whole jawline fix, I put the practical right here so that points right where the shadow is hitting. So if it wasn't there, for example, if it were just off for some reason, this would show up less and it would be more melded into the darks of my neck. And that's a problem because then I won't have a defined face. Same with the light right behind me, it outlines my face like this. So it kind of just shapes the face the best. So you gotta find a way to shape your face the best. There's not one perfect way for everybody, but there are basic places to put, like for example, finding the good spot of your face. I like this spot because it has that shadow, and that's why I chose. It's kind of the thing that I like the most. But some people, for example, again, beauty, you want your whole face to be lit so that you can just feature the whole makeup tutorial. Yeah. And some people like the top down and front forward just because it allows you to have a evenly lit and very mellow interview look. So it depends on what you're going for, so just test around. For example, I tested up here and these bags showed up more. I tested down here and these bags showed up more. So I found the perfect little spot where they show a little bit less. So for that last step, I'm gonna show you the mistakes and certain things that people would do. So for example, let me just turn off these backlights right over here. See, without these practicals, it still looks fine because of the way I angled this light on my face, but there's a lot less definition right over here. There's a lot less of like, you know, outline over here as well, and it kind of puts my whole set back here into a mellow, bland, grayish tone, and that's not what you want. So let me turn that back on. Boom. And see the difference there? And let me turn that back on. I have to plug it in. It's not. I wish it was hooked up to something, but yeah, 1 second. And boom, done. It looks more lived in. It looks alive. The whole set looks real. Now, let me just show you guys different positions of this light. And this is what the light looks like if you put it from the bottom. And yeah, it looks like that whole flashlight under the face look where you're telling a scary story, but that's not what you want unless you're telling a scary story on YouTube and making it corny as fuck. But as you can see, it doesn't look great. It doesn't have the features that I want for my face. It actually adds the wrinkles on my forehead if I do this. Really weird. Yeah. Also makes my cheekbones look like they're saggy and just a bunch of unflattering things. And this is a top view of my light. And as you can see, it looks very awkward. It has like raccoon eyes on me. Still adds this weird shadow that I don't want. Has this like weird stripe I don't want. It has this that I want, but it just doesn't add the look that I'm going for. So you kind of have to just test around, like I said. So this will look like after. It's slightly from the top, but also closer to the middle. And as you can see, no raccoon eyes, still has this shadow right over here. But I kind of like this like moon crescent shadow right there. And it has this nose light, but it doesn't give me the raccoon eyes. It just gives the right amount of contour. And that's what I want. And I know this advice is very vague because it is just one light. And it is a lot of testing around. I still test around with my lights almost on a weekly basis just to get the perfect places. I have tape all over the ground to have like different test areas on where I want to put things just so that I remember where I did last time. And yeah, it's just a lot of trial and error. So just always record and just get better over time. If you look at my past videos, my lighting setup was terrible, but I got better and I got to here. So it's a lot of trial and error and just get there. So it is vague, but it is the right advice because there's no other way to find out how to do it. So if this video helped you guys, and if you guys want to check out more lighting techniques, setups, and a bunch of other things about lighting your YouTube videos, go ahead and check out the playlist down below. And also, if you guys want to know the gear that I use, I listed them down below also, just to give you guys a little bit of a more personal touch or anything that if you guys want just more suggestions, I have those right over there. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe and dream on.